I'm back again, Lou Weiss at the Institute of Supply Management, Houston, Texas annual conference. And with me today I have two people from Michigan State, not to be confused with anybody else. Right?
Right.
Did I do that good?
Very well.
So to my on my right is Kelly Lynch, who's the Director of Corporate Student Relations, Department of Supply Chain Management.
Yes.
And we have Nancy Taylor, who is the SCM Marketing Director, Department of Supply Chain Management. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending the time with us.
Thank you.
So, Michigan State has a pretty active supply chain management program. Who's going to tell me about it?
I'll start. We're very proud of our program. It's ranked number one in U.S. News and World Report in undergrad for 8 years running and 2 years running as graduate. So it recognizes our supply chain management educational offering. And so we teach undergrads, we teach master's levels, and we teach PhDs. So that suite of educational programs is what we are recognized for nationally.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. We also mix in with that a large suite of executive education programs, online certificates, on-site exec ed programs of 3 to 4 days or a week. So it's basically, we like to say that if you're looking for any kind of supply chain education program, we have something to fit.
So it's either you're there live or you can go online.
Correct.
Very good.
We're off-site, and we've got satellite locations, not only in East Lansing, but 2 locations in Metro Detroit.
Wow. So you've gone digital.
We're digital, we're virtual, we're physical.
It's interesting. I was talking with someone earlier today about the importance of supply chain and supply chain management, and it's really become a very important part of our economy. And so, why don't you give me some insight as to how they feel about it as well?
You mean how we feel about it at Michigan State?
Yeah, yes, please.
I think that it's reflected in the fact that Michigan State has been teaching logistics, materials management, and eventually the larger topic of supply chain since the 1960s. We had some pioneers in that. Donald Bowersox wrote one of the first PhD dissertations on that topic in I think it was the early 60s, along with faculty at Ohio State and other universities. So we have a long history with recognizing the importance of transportation, logistics, and supply chain in how business is managed in the United States and worldwide. So it's a long-standing commitment to the importance of this as an educational field and a practitioner field.
It's also interesting about how supply chain has risen in importance within corporations, where usually their direct report is the CEO, instead of.
Yeah, it's a C-suite position now.
Yes.
To Nancy's point, the evolution of supply chain has really gone from more of cost containment and cost management to strategic alignment. It's a critical component to the bottom line of the company in terms of efficiency, but it's a critical component to the top of the line in terms of leveraging the supply chain, for competitive advantage, new technology, new innovation. Companies can't and shouldn't do it all themselves. Vertical integration it may work for some companies in some industries, but for the vast majority it doesn't. So utilizing that entire supply chain, that web of companies that are out there, and coordinating them into a managed way of doing business, that's what makes supply chain management so critical to a company's success.
The size of your classes How many students are taking supply chain today?
We have a very large undergraduate population, which Kelly mostly deals with. We graduate 350.
Between 350 and roughly 400 to 450 students now. It'll be going down to about 350 to 400, just because we have to. The degree is so popular. We have so many students who would like to enroll that we just have to make sure we maintain the right level of student to faculty ratios, make sure we have the facilities all in place. So it's a competitive admit program now at Michigan State. So not every student who applies gets in, but it's roughly between 350 and 400 every year going forward. And
Which
then,
are graduating.
Which are graduating with an undergraduate degree.
The active number is even larger.
Yes,
Yeah.
because there's seniors and juniors, and some sophomores are already into a supply chain degree themselves.
Right. Any of your students make it to the 30 under 30 program here at ISM?
Yes, I think that I just had someone tell me that they think there was a new Spartan who's a 30 under 30, and then about 3 years ago, we had one of the graduates of our master's program in supply chain was recognized as 30 under 30. So
very good.
And then
Very good.
the Richter program that's a part of ISM,
Right.
we have one student who's a Richter scholar, and we've had a Richter scholar 1 or 2 or 3 almost every single year for 10 years. We
Is that
always
right?
have a Richter scholar, yeah.
Wow,
So
that's pretty impressive.
yeah, and aside from the undergraduate population, we also have a master's program, which usually has about 80 active students a year. So 160 or so total during any one academic year. We have an MBA program. The largest concentration in our MBA program is supply chain. And then we have a very active PhD program with PhD candidates both in logistics focus or in operations and procurement focus.
Tell me a little bit more about your digital online program.
I'll
Give me a
talk to
little
that.
insight into that.
It's a master's program that's been in existence since 2002. Initially, it was more of an on-campus offering with almost boot camp sessions in the summer where we'd bring people in for 2-week sessions. Recognizing the change in the marketplace, the growth of people that wanted to take this degree but could not take that much time away from work, we converted in 2015 into a 90% online program. So we still maintain some visits to campus, 3-day sessions of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 times over the course of a 2-year program. But the bulk of the program is being taught online. We have a very high-tech developed program with podcast lectures by the faculty, discussion boards which act like almost an online classroom participation. Our testing is done online with some rigorous controls in order to ensure academic honesty, which is important when you have an online program to prove that you have the students doing what they're supposed to be doing. So our students begin a program and they take 8-week classes, sequential, one after another, until they're done with the program. We recognize that they're working full-time. We accommodate them as much as we can with the schedule. We record everything, so in case they were to not be able to be on live in a certain session, they can go back and review it. So we keep them very connected, and we have a very, very solid graduation rate.
It sounds so incredibly different than
Yes, the old traditional school we all went to.
Right,
Yes, indeed.
right.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you're from the student side also. So give me a little insight into how the students appreciate the digital aspect of the programs.
Yeah, and this will be mostly on the undergraduate students who I primarily interface with, but beyond digital, there's a lot of electronics and digital education that takes place in our curriculum, but it is still mostly classroom based because this is a full-time undergraduate program, so they're here. It's not really online for the undergrads, but It's a really good program. Our average grade point by the time the students graduate is about 3.6. The average student has about a little bit more than 4 job offers when they graduate. We got about I'll just say it's north of 95% placement rate for our seniors when they finish up, and over 90% of our undergraduates have at least one internship experience over the course of their academic career. Many more now have 2 than just a few years ago, and now we're even seeing students get internships after their freshman year.
So this is why you were rated by U.S. News and World Report 8 years in a row?
8 years in a row.
As number one.
Number one. I think some of the other things Kelly could expound on too is just like the master's program has changed in terms of its format, we've kept the curriculum for the undergrad program as current as possible and have added where the employers tell us that they're looking for something, then we try to build that in some capacity. So we are sending out our undergrad students as prepared as possible.
So an example of that is we got some feedback from some of our companies that our students needed to be a little bit better prepared in some of the nuances of Excel. So, from the Microsoft Office suite, it's a very, very powerful tool. So after getting that feedback, we work with our faculty and we do now workshops. They're not for credit, but the cost of the student is $0. We fund that through resources and donations from other companies, and the students get an intensive 3 to 4 hour workshop, and they walk out of that much more prepared and much more confident when they start that first position, be it as an intern or as a full-time employee, that they're well versed in Excel, and lasting impressions and first impressions are very similar. So they come out and they're prepared, and they can really make an impact on day one, which is what we really want, which is what the employers want as well.
I've been doing this manufacturing talk radio now for a number of years. It's not my number one means of income, 0. But I've learned a lot, and my co-host Tim Grady, who's not here, he's up there on the screen. You can see him.
He's the good-looking one.
Yeah, he's the good-looking one, the taller guy.
Okay.
And I think I have more white hair than him. What we found is that in days gone by, there was not as much involvement with the educational system, with the business world and manufacturing world, and it's changing, and it's a major change. I mean, we do a lot of things with NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, and they work with manufacturing companies and businesses on just like the thing that you brought up about what they like and don't like, and improvements and so on, and that's really important.
As do we. We've got well over 200 employers who come to Michigan State, manufacturers, service providers, even like state procurement and public procurement. So you name it. I tell everybody the whole world is a supply chain. You just have to look a little bit to find it. And we have some very strategic alignment between our university, our faculty, staff, and our students and companies. And then again, they run the whole length and breadth of industry. Of course, being in Michigan, there's a lot of automotive companies. So General Motors, Ford Motor Company, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles are all part of what we call our Supply Chain Management Council. But we also have Cisco on that council, so based in California. Intel is on the council. Grant Thornton, based out of Chicago, they're a consulting provider and an accounting firm. And their constituents know and understand the value of strategic supply chain management. And that's true. And that's really reflected in our students. It's reflected in our curriculum. It's reflected in our faculty. They're on the cutting edge of research, and it's a research institution at Michigan State. And bringing that knowledge, that fresh knowledge, into the classroom, to Nancy's point, where there's PhD, masters, graduate levels, or undergraduate students, they're on the cutting edge.
Yeah, it's something that our economy and other economies around the world need to understand, that you've got to mix education with manufacturing and businesses and so on. There's an organization called Virtual Enterprises International, They are in 15 states in the United States. They have 15,000 students who, in their last year of high school, take a course on entrepreneurship. And it's really a fantastic program. And because not only don't they know Excel and other programs, they don't know how to run a company. So that last year, they are not required, but if they want to, they can take that course. And it's amazing how many people have taken this course over the last 10 years. And not a lot of people know about this organization. I happened to meet with them, and we've done an interview with them, and it's really quite encouraging to see that there are people really out there trying to make a major difference. And one of my favorite expressions is, don't wait for the government to help you. We got to do it on our own.
And I think at Michigan State very much adopts that interaction between industry and academia. We've always recognized that supply chain, while it is an academic subject, it is still a very practical application.
Sure.
And the value of the internships at the undergraduate level, which is so important so that those students go out and work a summer, and when they come back, the classes mean more to them. It's not an academic exercise. They can go to a class and say, I recognize that from when I was in a company over the summer.
Right.
And our master's students, given that they are all working full-time while they're in the program, are sometimes going right from a class and going into work and applying the principles of what they learned in a class, how to view a situation or a problem with a different eye than what they have traditionally done, how that faculty makes them think differently. And as Kelly mentioned too, strategically, which is one of the reasons Michigan State is well known, is that we do teach strategic supply chain. We don't teach just logistics, just procurement, or just operations.
Right.
We interweave those three topics throughout our educational programs so that the person comes out as a strategic supply chain analyst at the beginning level, or in the master's program, they come out as a strategic supply chain manager.
And giving them a more well-rounded view of what they're going to be doing.
Supply chain management within a company, it's really an enterprise-wide type of discipline.
Sure.
And it lends itself well to being able to understand, to Nancy's point, that you have to optimize everything for the intent of the entire company. You can't optimize one aspect of the company. You can't have your purchasing function pick a low-cost person who brings in poor quality or poor delivery. All that does is sub-optimize your operations, your manufacturing process, and our students learn and understand that.
That's very good. Well, I really appreciate you spending some time in explaining Michigan State.
We'd be remiss if we didn't add one more point.
Sure.
So not only are we investing in our students, we're investing in our facilities. We've got a brand new facility opening up later this fall, the Minskoff Business Pavilion. So state-of-the-art classrooms, state-of-the-art educational programming and processes systems, as well as meeting spaces, advising services for undergraduates and MBA students, as well as career services, all coming under one great big brand new roof.
And in order to have this online high-tech experience, you have to have a high-tech facility, and you see the leading schools do that.
As a matter of fact, NJIT has built a 30,000-foot manufacturing plant.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, you can simulate a lot, and to Nancy's point, that translates from a classroom environment into a practical workplace environment.
And it's not so much. It is educational, but it's not so much school.
Practicality, I think, is the key word.
Right, right. That's very good.
Practical application.
Is there any other points you'd like to bring in?
No, we appreciate this opportunity very much.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will be. This will be up in about a week or so. You will get an email letting you know where it is and when it is, and if you like, you could even put it up on your website.
We will. We have a very active website and Facebook social media presence for the school, and so we're happy to put it there as well.
If you're a university and you don't have a social media program, you've got a problem.
That is true.
All true. All true.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.